You ready to pound your mouth down?
As I make my way, the fact I'm still alive, my claim to fame. It's no surprise I'm on a rise, finna stake my claim. Separate me from the others, cause we ain't the same. Ask my brothers from another, we ain't for play. Time is money, so we got no time to waste. Soon as this thing's moving, it can't be stopped. Blue bands in my pocket, call that juggernaut.
In the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your work sure would help a lot.
You know the stat quo. Finna get a bag, bustin' down that blow. Out of East Side Ho, where they know my name.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
You damn right. It's me. It's the Fantasy Football Hustler, and we're bringing you FNT. Here with the man Bogey representing the GMM Network.
Yeah, what up, champ?
Yeah, we are going down. Yeah, multiple champs in the building. Bogey won 5, I won 6. We're some champions out here bringing some news for you guys. Still in these leagues.
Yeah, she's a champ too, huh? Okay.
Oh, always. Yeah. David P in the building. What up, bro? JC Money Design in the building. What's going on, bro?
What up, Jesus Christ?
Yeah. Zeb in the building, bringing the trees. What up, bro?
Has anybody seen The Walking Dead? I'm a big fan, right?
I never got into it.
So it's funny, real quick. I'll make this quick. He's JC Money, so I call him Jesus Christ Money, right? Because that's just ignorant. But also, he looks exactly like the Jesus character from The Walking Dead. I'm telling you, for those of y'all know, put it in the chat because JC Money, he's Jesus from The Walking Dead.
What up, Ruben? What's going on, bro? All right. We're going to get to some of this news real quick because there's not too much as of right now, and then we'll get to any questions that anybody has. There you go. Take some of this water.
Hi over there.
Yeah. Noble saying hi over there.
What up?
Hi.
Careful.
Oh, bruh.
Careful. All right. So let's see. The news that we got so far. We got for the Broncos, Bradley Chubb, Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, and then 9 other players besides that have all been activated off the COVID reserve. I don't know if I'm not playing any of the wide receivers. I'll tell you that much. But if you're in an IDP, I might get Bradley Chubb in there.
I mean, it just sucks. When it's Drew Lock, literally nobody is fuck-wittable.
Yeah.
Maybe no offense.
And I wouldn't even say that. Like, it's been bad for Fant. It's been bad for Albert O. Like, if it's Drew Lock, like, you just can't trust any of the pass catchers. Even if they're getting their asses kicked by the Chiefs, like, you got to hope that they just start garbage time, like, in the first quarter.
Start the Chiefs DST.
Yeah. Always against the Broncos. All right, now how about for the Bears? Fields is going to be the starter this week. Let's see who they going up against. They are going up against
Minnesota.
Yep, going up against Minnesota on the road at Minnesota.
You know what's so weird, bro? Why are they doing this? Just shut them down.
I mean, I think it's Andy Dalton. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they want to see what they have. And the Vikings have been trash, especially against especially against the pass. Way better against the run than against the pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm just saying this because I love my man Monty Burns so much, and like he's gonna be more Burns than anything this week because I just don't ever trust I don't ever trust Fields to dump it down. I'm not saying that Montgomery's not going to eat, but like the production in the air is what we're looking for on top of like, because he needs all the volume. He's very inefficient, David Montgomery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean when he gets, he throws up 5-6 receptions, something like that. He can easily flirt with being in the top 12, but yeah, if he doesn't get any receptions, I think he's like more of an RB2 than an RB1.
Yeah, and then Mooney's in play. It's a great match. It's a soft matchup for him, and Fields loves him.
Yep, for sure. And Coach Craig says you couldn't really trust any with Bridgewater either. You ain't lying, bro.
But you know what though? We were able to trust starting both Gordon and Javonte.
That's it. There's the running backs at least.
Because at least the sorry ass Teddy Roosevelt would keep them in the game enough that they can't abandon the run and then go 3 and out every time, because Drew Lock will never get a first down to save his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Who else we got here? We got for the Cowboys, Micah Parsons has been added to COVID reserve.
The Eagles are already locked in. So are the Eagles are locked in, right?
Yeah, Eagles are locked in, and the Cowboys are locked in as well.
Yeah, so this doesn't really do anything to seeding. I mean, like, I don't know. I think if I'm them, I'm taking the opportunity to have a bye week. You know what I mean? Like, if the seating ain't gonna change, I'm gonna take the opportunity to get my starters rest, just like the big dog does. You know what I mean? There's only one big dog in each conference. They get the bye week. If you're in this position and this ain't gonna affect nothing, I would sit the starters.
So I don't know who has the tiebreaker between the Rams, the Bucks, and the Cowboys, but that's really the only thing.
The Rams beat the Bucks, and the Cowboys lost to the Bucks.
Yep.
So
I remember that.
Then I guess it goes to schedule.
Did the Rams and the Cowboys even play each other this year?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, if the Rams win, okay, and the Bucks lose, maybe that's where some seeding comes into play. As of right now, it looks like the Cowboys are going to just lock in that 4 seed either way. And I don't think I know that the Eagles are already locked in. If the Eagles lose and the 49ers win, looks like the 49ers could take a higher seed though.
Yeah, because we have a tiebreaker on them.
Yeah, and looks like you guys are tied right now. Do you have the tiebreaker on them? Because they've already clinched and the Niners haven't officially clinched yet.
We beat them week 1.
Okay.
So in that scenario, we win, we get higher because we beat them week 1.
Yeah.
But also that's because what's our records right now exactly?
9-7.
Right? And so is the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
So this would be irrelevant if this only becomes relevant if both of us win.
Right.
Because then we have the tiebreaker on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's you guys, it's the Niners and the Saints. Because if Niners lose and the Saints win, that's when some shit happens. But if 49ers win, it looks like they're clinching that last spot either way.
Yeah, we have our destiny in our hands. We win, we're in. But also there's a shot where if the Eagles lose and the Saints lose, then we get in.
Right. Well, I think if the Saints lose, you get in either way.
Oh, okay. Without the Eagles win or loss.
Yeah, because the Saints are 8-8 right now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
they have the tiebreaker over you guys, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah. And I think that goes down to because they beat the Bucks. I mean, I think it goes down to conference wins, all that shit. You know what I mean? If we have a record, they start going all the other meetings.
We'll know some of this shit when some games actually come on Saturday, because you already know they're going to talk playoff scenarios on Saturday.
Here's the thing. If the Chiefs win Saturday, it already changes a lot for players on Sunday. There might be a lot of teams that be like, okay, well, now we can't get the 2 or the 1. The Bengals could be like, all right, screw it, sitting everybody. If you know what I mean? Because if
we haven't even got to that. Let's just get to the Bengals.
Yeah.
So Burrow, he's not playing either way, and he came out and said it's not because of his knee. So they're pretty much locked into. I mean, they're already locked into their division, and I don't think they can really move up or down.
It would take a Titans loss and a Chiefs loss But then even then, I think they would only jump, and then the Bengals win, and I think they would jump into the 2 because they're at the 3 right now, right?
Shit, I'm not sure if they're at the 3 or the 4 because the Bills and the Patriots are both at 10-6. So I don't know who has the tiebreaker between all those 3.
Well, I mean, it's probably going to go within division. You know what I mean?
Let me see if I could see if they played each other at all.
Who are you talking about? The Bills and
The Bengals versus the Bills or the Patriots, and yeah, they didn't. So yeah, it's all going to be the conference, wins and all that kind of shit that puts a tiebreaker there for them.
Yeah.
But okay, so in addition to Burrow not playing, Joe Mixon tested positive for COVID, and he's not playing Sunday.
You know what's crazy is like I was already telling people to prepare for this anyway. I didn't think any of them will play anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have a reason to.
For Joe Mixon, this sucks. For him to be coming off of COVID going into a playoff game, that sucks.
Right. Because he tested positive too, so it's not just him being around people. He's got it.
Yeah, and yeah. So maybe Julie note that when we do these fantasy playoff drafts, like, you know what I mean, maybe don't reach so high on something like that because situationally it could be a little bad. You know what I mean? Coming off, we've seen this is not a trend. This just is what it is. Players come off COVID, they're kind of sluggish. I mean, but you really got to be playing someone like the Jags for to be Ramondre Stevenson coming off of COVID. And he's like, fucking, I'm running for like fucking damn near 102.
Yeah.
2 tuggies.
And Super Draft Pro, I mean, doesn't really matter the matchup. I think Mixon would just be one of those guys that I'd be avoiding either way because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what up? Tino said Henry lifting cranes at the facility. So he's been designated to return. He's going to start getting in practice this week. Obviously, he's not going to play this week, but he's ramping up for that playoff return. And man, if they're the 1 seed, because the Titans still have a shot at being the 1 seed, if they get an extra bye, whoo, better watch out. Henry's about to be going crazy.
You know what's crazy, bro? He brought that whole crane in that motherfucker, bro.
He carried it in on his shoulders.
Carried it in just so he can lift it, bro. And he was hopping on 1 foot because he's trying to save his bad foot. You know what I'm talking about?
He's a man amongst boys out there, like that's for sure. Like there's not too many grown men that are gonna go. What do they call that drill when it's just the offensive running back versus the defender and they're just tackling right in the middle?
Is it 1v1? Is it 1v1s?
I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what that drill is actually
1-1,
called.
something like that. I don't know. Listen, man, I know fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's not too many people. I mean, just heads up with Derrick Henry. Like, I don't know. That guy's just a fucking truck.
If you want to be a part of, if you're a player, you're a defender, and you want to get a highlight in your career.
There we go, Coach Craig, the Oklahoma drill. There we go. Stativelli got it. I knew it was a state. I just couldn't remember what state it was. There we go. The Oklahoma drill. No one's fucking with Henry in the Oklahoma drill.
Fuck no. He is Oklahoma.
And Robert, what up, bro? He said, don't you think it's common courtesy that if you're not in the playoffs, then you should keep your ass off the waiver wire for people who are? Yes. The only exceptions I feel is if, there's money for third place, if there's a third place game going on, if I'm still in the money, I would still be making moves. And if there's a last place punishment, like that's what if there's some kind of last place punishment, I don't think it's fair for those people not to be able to make moves to avoid a last place punishment. But those are literally the 2 exceptions.
So, I mean, there's also a way you could, and Yahoo, if you play on Yahoo, you could just completely block those teams out. That's not in it. You know what I mean? And then on the flip side of that, it's like an unwritten rule. You know what I mean? Like I was in, me and my shout out to my man Smokey. You know what I mean? Just want to send some well wishes to him and his family. Hope y'all get better soon. But shout out to my man Smokey. Like I said, we got a league, 14 savages, and we had a new guy. I'm not gonna say his name. He's my man's. And another manager was giving him a hard time because he got knocked out of the playoffs. But then the next week he was making moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I texted dude on the side. I said, look. It's like an unwritten rule, you know what I mean? You just kind of don't do that, you know what I'm saying? And I understand if you don't know that because we were all been 10-year plus fucking degenerates. You know what I mean? Where this is like, because the other manager was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? He was like, he was just like, whoa, this is against the law. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it is. It's like it's kind of like, they say there's no honor amongst thieves. It's kind of one of those things.
One, and you are like, if no one brings it up prior to the playoffs, that's just another thing too. Like, it's tough to remember that people don't think about that kind of shit. I didn't bring it up in any of my leagues. I mean, nobody was picking up people who wasn't in it. I mean, I play with a bunch of degenerates who they kind of know those unwritten rules, but yeah, it's there's some people who are newer and shit.
And you gotta as a commissioner, you just gotta let the motherfuckers know. You know what I mean? Because it's not that person's fault. Now on another flip side, in my early days of my home leagues, where there was a punishment, and then people were like betting on the side all day, like my lineup versus yours. Like,
I mean, that's different. That's just a straight up degenerate league, and we love them.
Yeah, and like motherfuckers that were out of the playoffs, they were just in there picking fools up because they're fucking. They had $100. They had $100 match going on. You know what I mean? And like no one really said anything. It wasn't until I got into like the more serious leagues, or at least until that home league turned into a serious league, and we kicked the last place punishment, and it's just money, and it's just fucking pride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now that one's packed. You know what I mean? Like, just there's no violations for real. There's still arguments though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember last year I removed the veto. I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers. And then like they was upset. Why is there no veto? And then I'm like, well, see, motherfuckers making trades and it's going through. You know what I'm saying? And like they should trust me specifically as a commissioner, where I'd be able to look at a trade and be like, nah, this is collusion right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd never play in a league that has vetoes anymore because that shit's stupid. Because I know for a fact in leagues that had vetoes, motherfuckers were just vetoing it just because. I don't want to let your team get better.
Or you're trading Kyler Murray to the 1 seed. It's like, listen, he's the 1 seed now, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I have Kyler Murray and he gets hurt. I'm like, you son of a fucking bitch.
And Tino said it best. There's no common courtesy in fantasy football, and that's one of the truest statements ever.
When you can talk shit behind an avatar, shit's getting said.
Oh yeah.
Hey, shout out to Tino, man. Shout out to the Eastside League, man. Motherfuckers, it's funny because motherfuckers, they, you know what I'm saying? There's been several dick measuring contests in that motherfucker. Pause.
And Stativelli said, what about a dynasty league? Dynasty leagues are different because very rarely will you be able to pick up someone in a dynasty league who's worth starting and going to make like an actual difference.
Unless your name is Brett Hundley. Because like, you know what I mean? That's very rare, right?
Super rare.
And I mean, if you're in a savvy dynasty league, you know what I'm saying? In those situations, the Jackson motherfucker might even already have had Hundley. You know what I mean? Just locked down the QB position.
Yeah. If they were smart, they did, especially if it's a super flex.
Yeah, you know. Hey man, I got so spooked at one point. I mean, you've been in leagues with me, and I have Allen everywhere. Josh Allen, I'm holding on to Trubisky. Brady, I'm holding on to Kyle Trask. I don't even think he's any kind of good. But it's just like I don't want to be in a predicament where I don't have, you know what I mean? And I only had like the 2 QBs in most of my league. Like that's one thing that sucked in most of my super flex leagues is I would draft like 3 or 4 QBs and trade them away and have the 2, but just to improve my team and just try to thug it out with 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and seeing like that, I mean, there was what's his name? One of the guys, SD Riders, who was in 2 of the championships. He ended up having no active QBs. Like, luckily he had Carson Wentz, and then Wentz ended up clearing COVID protocol or whatever. But he was going in to it was on Friday, and he didn't have any QBs left. Like, he's like waiting for news to like pick up people because he doesn't even know who the fuck's gonna be active.
He was in the chat all the time.
Yeah, he's super active.
Yeah, and you know what's funny too is Carson Wentz came out there and was ass, but at the end of the day, he had that ricochet touchdown. The ricochet touchdown to Hilton. It works.
Oh yeah.
One hell of a trick play.
Yeah. And Chris C said, due to my league finished dead last 3-12, all he had to do, he has to do a 5-minute stand-up comedy at a bar. We did this the year before COVID too. It was all drunken, hilarious train wreck. Glad I won. Man, that shit would be funny, making someone have to do it like a stand-up bit.
Remember, I told you we did this.
Oh yeah, you did say you did that. So when did this happen on yours?
This was like 2015. This was 2015. This was my studio league, and then one of the homies, who was basically like my hype man. Shout out to my man Pooty. You know, he had the plug over there at the Improv. You know, San Jose Improv is pretty. San Jose Improv it's a stop. When comics come through, this is like a place. I mean, like, this is our comedy joint. So it's not that. So we get him on the fucking to do an opening for, like, just some up and coming comedian. And like my man's he gets on that joint and we just start throwing tomatoes at him. And like he was like, first of all, I'm hella drunk, and like this, I'm kind of far from the stage, so I'm missing terribly, you know what I mean? And like, and he's dodging him, trying to do his jokes, and his jokes were terrible. Like, hella people were laughing though, because like, you know what I mean? Like he opened up his joint like, yeah, so I'm in this fantasy football league.
And then all you guys boo,
boo, and just boom, he's getting pegged with tomatoes, and that shit was awesome.
That'd be fucking hilarious. I mean, everyone thinks they could probably put a little stand-up bit together. Man, I mean, I know that there's this improv joint that we used to go to back in the day, the La Jolla Comedy Store, one of the notorious ones here in San Diego, where, you know, all the big hitters be going.
Yeah, it's a stop.
Yeah, and it's 3-minute, like 3-minute stand-ups, like every single Sunday. Like anybody could get on there. You just literally have to put your name on there, you know, in time, and everyone gets a 3 minutes. And man, I felt bad for some of the people who try to tell a 5-minute story in 3 minutes, and like no one's laughing at their entire shit. They don't even get to their punchline because their shit's taking so long. And
yeah, they're just bombing as fuck.
Yeah,
what's crazy is, like, I'd imagine the up and coming comedians, they can kill those little 1 minute, 2 minute joints, or even like for 45 seconds, because they're used to like that online. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're used to like quick hitter joints. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, listen, man. My favorite thing about being an artist was rocking the stage. That was my favorite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And listen, it's a real thing when you can't connect with the crowd. You're like, fuck. You know what I mean? And you know me, I'm just saying something like, yeah, it's real life in this joint. Like, woo! Like, you know what I mean? But then there's been other, multiple times where it's like, bruh, it's like, you know, when the wrestlers talk about how like you feel the crowd and shit like that, that's a real thing. You know what I mean?
They even talk about how when they go to the stadiums, like that versus the arena, because it's like so big and so open that you can't even hear anything.
Nope, the sound goes up. The sound goes up from where they're at in the center. I mean, it's kind of like that for football players too, right? That's why, like, it's a real thing when you're in Seattle or Arrowhead. And the crowd, the way the stadium design is to magnify the sound, and it reverberates, and it just, it fucks people up. The opposing offenses got to go in there with silent counts and shit like that because you can't hear shit. But,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it makes sense though, right? And these other joints where it's like, you know what I mean?
The arenas go wild, like, I mean, they're all enclosed too. They're all way smaller than these stadiums. And so, yeah, the noise just bouncing off, the ceilings and the walls and everything, just, it makes a difference.
Oh yeah.
And David P said Blake Jarwin cleared from IR. I did not see that, but I'm sure we'll get more news about that tomorrow.
He ain't fucking with the Stanford kid. See, this is a class. This is like circa Hayden Hurst, Mark Andrews, where Hayden Hurst was that guy. He was the first rounder. He was supposed to be the guy, and Mark Andrews just outworks the motherfucker. You know what I mean? And looks better, stays healthy, etc. Same thing with Blake Jarwin. Blake Jarwin was supposed to be a boy.
Yeah.
And he tears the ACL, all this shit, and here comes the Stanford kid. You know what I mean? And
Blake Jarwin was so fucking hyped in was it 2020 or 2019? I can't even remember the year they tore his ACL.
going into 2020 is where all the hype was.
Yeah, like everyone, the footballers ranking him as like the top, top 5, top 6 tight end. I mean, the hype was real on Blake Jarwin.
But also because it was a guy you could snag like late. You know what I mean?
The hype got built so much. Like he was going in like 6th, 7th round. I remember that shit.
See, that's a dumbass.
Yeah.
Like, what's crazy is I'm a victim of that shit on in my own right. Hayden Hurst in 2020, I was pulling him up in like the 8th round. You know what I mean? Because they just had Austin Hooper going crazy. He was gone. It's the same system. They traded for Hayden Hurst, Helmsley. You know what I mean? And for what it's worth, on a per game basis, he was all right. He just didn't have the big games like Austin Hooper did. You know what I mean?
And you know what it was for me? Because I did not switch my thinking about top tier tight ends until like 2019. I was always the guy, get the tight end last. I'll stream it the whole year. Fuck it. Like, I mean,
I had Darren Waller and Mark Andrews everywhere. And then when they were both working, I had a trade piece. And what's crazy is like, these were guys I was getting in like the 13th, 14th round. You know what I mean? I had them everywhere.
I got Darren Waller off the free agency, like in free agency that year.
It's great. Well, I mean, there's Raider fans in my leagues too, so.
Oh yeah. You're in the Bay. I was with people who are more fucking cheesehead fans and like, people over there in this league. And but I ended up winning it and having Lamar Jackson in there, and then Darren Waller, who was I don't even remember who I actually drafted in that league. And really what it was, there's this one dude.
2018. What's
Zach Ertz might have been 2018, darling.
2018. Here's my late round guy. My man Trey Burton.
Yeah.
And he was like so mediocre, but he finished as a top 10 guy at the position because he had like 8 touchdowns. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can't remember what year it was, but I remember getting Greg Olsen as like the last tight end drafted in the entire league.
2015, probably.
Yeah, and he just went off, was like a top 3 tight end that year. And it was because of picks like that made me just trust the late tight end. But if you miss, you really
gotta
miss.
Grab a couple of them. You got to grab a few of them.
Yeah.
So this year, I grabbed a ton of Higbee, which didn't really work out, and then Gerald Everett. And like, it's funny because Gerald Everett's a guy I dropped and went streaming tight ends, and then eventually picked him back up and rocked with him like the last 8 weeks because that was when he really came on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, people were grabbing Adam Troutman. You know what I'm saying? All kind of. Who else was interesting this year? Oh yeah, pick your poison of Jonnu or Hunter Henry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, both were bad. I mean, shit, TJ Hawkinson going as high as he did, like he was going.
He was a 5th round.
High as hell.
You know who was the value tight end? Was just get if you got Mark Andrews, because he was going in like the 5th round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a single QB, in a super flex, he might even win a little later. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Steven, what up, bro? We were just talking about you earlier, how you took down the whole fucking how you took down the whole best ball tourney.
120 people, 119 people fell victim to our man Steven. Titans for life, man. Good shit, Steven.
You're a savage, bro. You're a savage.
He's always one of my favorite characters. Like when I first started like fucking with y'all, I was like, yeah, I like the guy Steven. He's good.
And Chris C said, plus now I get to enjoy money and a show. Hell yeah, bro. You won it and you get to go see your friend make an ass of himself. That shit's going to be fun.
Right? Hey, because you know what, man? If you didn't win it, you'd be a mad-ass motherfucker and you would need to watch this show to make you feel better. You know what I mean? Now, you could just feel great and then feel even better when you're always getting humiliated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Chase.
Give me money.
And Chase said, pretty dope, Chris. I hope you had some jokes ready. What up, Chase? You already know, unless you're a professional, you're just writing down some dumb jokes. Like, who knows if any of them hit?
It's really about the timing, too, bro. You know what I mean? Like, a motherfucker could be funny and just go up there and make facial expressions and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's about the, you know what I mean? Just, it's going to be funny, though. Because that guy, if I could put money on it, I would. I guarantee that guy's going to bomb.
I'd just start clowning people in the audience. Like that's what I would do. I would just start clowning all the people in the league and come up with jokes about them. That
Right?
shit would make it more funny. Unless they're throwing tomatoes at you like you were. Then I'd be aiming for some faces at that point.
Hey, look at. I remember I was at a comedy club in Times. I think it was Times Square.
Oh shit!
It was one of the times we was in New York, right? So check this out. I'm sitting there, and mind you, it's like June, but it's I'm not really like East. I'm trying to look East Coast, so I got like a thermal on, and I have a bubble vest, and I got like these white stunners on, right? And then like this dude was like, "Look at this fucking Afghani looking Kanye here." He was like, "Why?" He's like, "Why the bubble vest?" Like he's like, "Oh, the arms ain't cold." Like he was just like, he was tearing me up, bro.
Man,
I want you.
And you didn't get up and clap back?
Huh? No, I was dying for real because he was just going around like getting on everybody, you know.
Okay.
But he took a stop, and what's funny is I'm with my girl and I'm with my sister and my cousins. You know what I mean? And like. You know what I'm saying? I got, my girl's beautiful and my family's beautiful. So this guy's like, look at this guy. He's like, look, he got all the bitches. He's like, and I'm like, and he's a space age looking pimp. And then he goes, and I go, oh no, man, this is my girl and my family. He goes, oh, pimping's cold. He's like, he's pimping his family.
Oh man,
oh, shit.
I remember one time we went to one of the my friend was actually doing a bigger stand-up and Joe Coy was there like that night. Yes. He was opening for him. And it was one of these dudes who like was in the Vince Vaughn comedy show or whatever, if you remember.
The Indian guy.
Well, no, it wasn't the no, I mean it was a white dude. He was the one who did the roller skating bit. If you remember that, the shit was funny. And he starts looking around and surveying the room, and he was like, "And who are these guys up front right here?" He was like, "Man, you guys look like savages. Both of you guys are weed smokers, I could tell." And he was like, "I bet you sold him the weed." And he pointed at my friend, because my friend was all tatted up and shit. And he was like, "I bet you, my friend, sold me sold him the weed." And we just both started looking at each other and laughing because it was the opposite.
Right. Listen, man, I'll be dressed like a nerd, and they won't know I had a bird in the backpack. I'm trying to dress like a square. They don't look at me.
Yep.
No
Anthony.
tattoos.
Hell yeah, me neither. No tattoos, no earrings. I
I
try not to even wear my gold necklaces out anymore. It attracts too much attention. And Anthony said, "What up? Did Henry practice today? He got designated to return from IR, so he practiced today in some capacity. I have no idea, but he ain't playing this week. No, next week, if they're not the number 1 seed and they're playing next week, the plan is for him to play.
Yeah. So activating him off the IR right now is to put him in the process of getting back into game shape. Usually that takes about 2 weeks of practice, right? Like, I mean, at least that's what history has shown.
And if you're still on IR, you can't do like full practices.
No.
So like being designated to return, then he can go through and like start getting, real practices, not just a limited IR practice.
Mm-hmm.
And Niner MMA said, do all the Hustler leagues have fab? So not 100% of Hustler leagues have fab, but all the Dynasty leagues do. The Guillotine leagues, they do. And that's pretty much it. And then the rest, I just like doing rolling waivers.
Yeah, I like rolling.
Yeah, way better than the ones where, like, if you're the top of the league, you have the bottom. Because I'll be holding my shit, like there'll be a little stretch where.
I was talking about Molly.
Austin said, rough night last night. Had to take my dog to the ER at 2 a.m. Damn. Said she's doing better, and my COVID symptoms came back. But a lot worse. Damn, bro.
Yeah.
Man, hope you get better soon, man. That sucks.
Yeah, man. Thoughts and prayers, man.
Yeah, hopefully.
My pops, right? He had a chocolate lab, and it was my niece's dog, which, you know what I'm saying? And so she was like, "Yo, Grandpa, can you watch my dog?" Because I guess they moved to an apartment, can have a dog. Whatever the fuck the issue was. So now here's my dad has this full grown ass dog. Hella good dog, hella playful, right? Eats everything. And my dad was like, he was living like outside of the bottom of a hill where there was like a golf course. So like no one goes in this motherfucker. So like there's hella like, man, rabbits, you know what I'm saying, fucking deer, all kind of shit, right? And then this fool would eat everything, bro. Like one time, boom, he ate a rabbit. You know what I mean? one time. Then my pops, I would go over there and smoke and shit. And he had found this tarantula. It was just like a big ass tarantula, bro. And he had it. He bought a little cage for it. The dog knocked off the cage, ate the tarantula, bro.
Damn.
Hella sick. He got hella sick, bro.
Yeah.
But ultimately, then he bounced back. Ultimately, the dog had to get put down because he ate a fucking my dad would give him like a whole ass steak for real with the bone, like bone in steak.
Damn.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean? And the motherfucker ate the bone, bro. Like it swallowed the bone and it like ruptured the little intestine, whatever the fuck. Yeah. Like, it was gonna be like raquitos, bro, for the surgery, like 5 banditos and shit. Like my dad, but we'll put him down. Shout out to the dog.
That dog lived a long life, getting to chase and eat rabbits and shit, and like, man.
Hey, listen, he eats shoes, like everything, bro. Like eat a shoe, tear it up, eat it piece by piece. You know what I'm saying? How about this? Squirrels? Motherfuckers, you know what I mean? It's hard to catch a squirrel, bro. You know what I mean? Like them squirrels are crafty, bro.
Yeah.
It's funny because my dad, I'm over there. I'm like, "Where's the tarantula?" Like, I don't know. He's like, "If it was knocked down, I think it got out." And I'm like, I look at the dog. He's on his side. He's on his side, and he's just like breathing in and out, hella deep. Like, I think he ate it, bro.
Steven, you're a savage. You said Bogart reminds me of the dude in the first Horrible Bosses movie that gets high on powder and is speed talking and bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, Colin Farrell's character. Oh shit!
Nice. And Antonio said, "You think Bogart is speed talking and bouncing all over the place? You should see Luigi when he's on the show."
Hey, bro, I give great fantasy advice as Luigi. I swear to God.
And Tino said, "I bet Henry gets at least 10 touches this week." He's not going to play this week.
No, they already said he's not going to play. Like,
Yeah.
This has already been announced that he's not going to play this week, but he's just been lifted off the IR. They're getting him prepped for the post.
Yeah, because I mean his injury, his foot injury, they're not trying to make it worse, and they already locked in their division. They're fighting for a number 1 seed without Derrick Henry.
Right? Hey, Vrabel's a hell of a coach.
What week did Henry go out? Do you remember?
Weeks, Schneven. I think it was 7.
So he played week 7, right? So week 7 was his last game.
I'm ballparking because I just remember it was like either.
Okay, he played week 8, so he got hurt week 8.
Okay.
So let's see what they were in week 8. By week 8, so let's see. 1.
Yeah, 9.
1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5.
Oh, they were the number 1 seed at the time.
7-1. So they were 7-1.
Yeah,
him going out.
1 seed. And then the next week they go out there and they punch the Rams in the face in LA. They beat the shit out of the Rams.
Yep. I mean, shit. They've only lost 4 games without him. Like out of what? Like 8.
Yeah, they lost the game to the Patriots. I called that. You know what I mean? Who else did they lose to in that stretch? They lost to the.
Oh, they lost to the Texans. That next game they lost to the Texans.
Yeah, the Houston. I was gonna say there was a Houston stinker. I chalked that up to divisional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they lost. I mean, close game versus the Steelers. They lost 19-13.
Yeah,
and that was when the Steelers' defense was really like legit.
I mean, they fucking Joe Hayden made the play of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nick Westbrook Akina catches the ball. He's right at the sticks. And he's going down, and all in the same motion. Here comes Joe Hayden, like hits him, pushes him back. The shit was all single tackle, solo tackle. I mean, fucking awesome.
Yeah,
because that was the first down, and then they're like another 10 yards of field goal position with a decent kicker.
Yeah, and actually, hold on. So Henry went down week 8.
He played that whole game, though.
Not well.
That's the thing, is he played the whole game.
Yeah, not well, though. I mean, he had 28 attempts, 68 yards. So that the Colts, they held him down.
Yeah, he was.
They came out and won the week after that versus the Rams without him.
That's what I was just saying.
That's crazy.
They went over there and they punched the Rams in the face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Remember they brought in Adrian Peterson just basically for the 1 touchdown.
And then they beat the Saints. the week after that. So they go 2-0 without him, and then they lose to the Texans, then they lose to the Patriots.
And you could tell this is a well-coached team because it's not like Tannehill's putting them on his back. His numbers suck. If you didn't watch any of the games and see that he's just really game managing and actually playing well in that sense, you know what I mean? But from a production standpoint, he's hella sorry. You know what I mean? If you just look at the numbers, you're like, oh, he ain't doing shit.
Yeah, because they lost 2 games with Henry. I didn't scroll back up. I forgot the
no
first game of the
AJ
season.
Brown. No AJ Brown that whole time. AJ
Yeah,
Brown,
how long was his ass out?
he was out since what is that, week 2, week 3?
Yeah, he got hurt in week 3.
Yeah.
And then but he only missed 1 game after that. So he was there for a stretch, but it was week 12 to week 15 that they did not have him.
Okay.
So it was a couple games after Henry got hurt that Brown got hurt again.
Julio has probably played a total of a half in football this whole season.
Dude.
If that.
Yeah, because every game, I mean the week 2, that was really the only game that he did good in the entire season. The rest has just been bullshit or he's not playing. And a lot of those games that he played, he got like two out of however many games that he's played, he only had 1 target. So he was all fucked up in those games.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, Dummy Lettuce. He said Titans could win it all. You ain't lying, man. You ain't lying.
If you get Derrick Henry and he's like 65% Derrick Henry, but quote unquote fresh, you know what I mean? Because but here's the one thing, it is a foot injury. You know what I mean?
I mean, broke his foot.
But here's the
his whole toe got bent backwards.
If you don't need a cut, and if he switches to a style where it's just like a straight power run, and you don't touch him because he's gonna stiff arm the fuck out of you.
I mean, the most of his shit is like that, though. I mean, he's not really taking it to the outside too often. It's usually right up the gut or a power.
They got big stretch runs when they to the right side when they run zone.
Yeah,
I mean, but
I'm just saying I think he runs more between the tackles than outside of the tackles.
No,
that's all.
100%. But how about this though, right? I remember he was one of my gotta have running backs in 2018, in fantasy, and I was getting him the 5th, 6th round because he was finally gonna have the job, but people were there's oh, it's gonna be a committee like it always is, blah blah blah. It took him a while to come on. You know what I'm saying? He really started coming on November-ish. You know what I mean? Then he had the best fantasy performance ever in a playoff for playoff fantasies or fantasy playoffs. And the year before that, it was the Todd Gurley one that went crazy. So he actually beat the Todd Gurley shit. You know what I mean? But anyways, that year I remember telling people yo, dog, this motherfucker has 33-inch arms, blood. And they were like, what the fuck does that matter? I'm like, because the stiff arm is nasty. I mean, that's like a defensive end. He's built like a defensive end playing running back.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And Chris, I'm throwing in some links in the chat here. So Cash App, Apple Pay, or Zelle. I'm going to put my info in there.
This for the playoff joints?
So he asked do you guys have a donation link that's not super chat?
Oh, yeah.
And then what's yours, Bogey? Because I know you got a Venmo, so we'll put Venmo for you. That'll make it easier.
It's legit at Bogey, BOGIE _ give _ me _ money.
Very fitting. All right. So, and there we go. I put it all in there. And then I also put in the link to the Survival of the Healthiest, the shirt that we all designed.
Yeah.
So me and Bogey kind of workshopped everything, and Survival of the Healthiest kind of came to fruition. JC Money is the one who came up with the design. So anybody who buys any t-shirts or anything Survival of the Healthiest, all the proceeds and profits getting split 3 ways. So you get to support 3 people at once.
Oh,
get these shirts and stuff.
That's definitely the mantra that I bestowed upon the fantasy from here on out. And it was early on in the year dealing with all the injuries and COVID. And I just said this year is the survival of the healthiest.
It
And for
really
all
is.
you champs, for everybody out there that got you a chip, I want you to go out and buy this shirt. Get the premium joint too, so that shit just fly. You know what I mean? Because the other ones fly too, but this one's that mooey. You know what I mean? But so I'll tell you this much: you get that shirt because that is as good as a title. You know what I mean? And for those of y'all that, you know what I mean, that just think the shit is fly, yeah, cop that shit too. But I'm telling you, all you champions out there that rocked with us, you know what I mean? I want you to cop that shirt. That's a trophy right there when you rock that shit.
We got
the healthiest.
We got the black on white. We got the white on black. So whatever you want. If you don't like wearing black shirts, we got the white one for you too.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna wear that shirt and wear a mask at the same time. My son laughs hella hard.
All right, let's see. And and Antonio said no need to rush him back. They want him for the playoffs. Yep. And didn't they lose to the Jets? They did. That was one of the teams that beat us.
But they had Derrick Henry there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's crazy is because
It was in New York. I bet you they were just going hard that night.
I mean, listen, I think Vrabel and them, I think they just slept on the Jets. Because who do they play the next week?
Hold on, let me go to it. They played the Jets in week 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they played the Jags the week after. And
so it wasn't like, so that was just some fluke shit. It wasn't like they slept on them because they had like the Patriots the week after, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we've seen that a lot this year. Like it'll be a trap game, like because this team seemingly could be like focused on the following week. You know what I mean? Which sounds stupid, but it's kind of a trend. We've seen that. Like, the Cards, they drop one to the Lions. You know what I mean? And then like it's like, they had a divisional matchup the next week. You know what I mean?
Noble saw it and he got all hyped. He's like, "Hey, he's got a baby and a kid."
Yeah. Say what's up, dude. Say what's up, bruh.
Give it.
Yeah, maybe you guys will get to meet next week. We'll see.
Yeah, for real though.
Yeah, we'll say.
Get out there. Say what's up, Trey. That's
so funny.
Right there, man.
And Big Kong, I quit smoking cigs and I almost pulled an AB and at work and said, "No, I need to get this paper."
Hey man, you know what the key? This is the key to quitting a drug. Cigarettes are a drug.
Yeah.
Other drugs.
We need it.
Yes. Other drugs.
Why do you need?
Double the weed smoke.
Why do you need it, bro?
That's probably the best drug. Actually, it will be a pharmaceutical drug soon here. It already is in a lot of instances, but I'm just saying that's how you get away from it.
Oh yeah. And Tino said Henry was able to come back after 8 weeks. They've rested him an extra 3 weeks. He's super healthy. Yeah.
And my man Tino, I know him in real life, bro. He's a doctor.
And we know Austin.
Why are you close?
Tino said the crazy part, Henry led the league in rushing for 4 more weeks after his injuries. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
JT. That's when JT started having fun.
He's let's see where he's at with his rushing yards. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's still 6th in rushing. Devin, what up, bro? Ha! And Chandler said future fantasy rivals. Oh yeah. And Chris said this stream is just as focused on as it is wholesome. Keep it up, fam. Oh yeah.
Yes.
And Devin, he said, "What up, fellas? What do you think about the Cowboys? Dak, Zeke, and Lamb. And looks like Jamar Chase might rest. Got Evans, Ayuk, Van Jefferson, Lance, or Garoppolo. So we got a lot in here.
He's moving his screen.
Okay, let's break this down.
I mean, Cowboys are probably going to sit some of their players. I mean, we already said Joe Burrow's sitting. Mixon's on COVID. So, yeah, why would they play Chase or Higgins or Boyd?
Yeah. I mean, we're finna see. It probably won't even be Samaje Perine. It'll probably be Chris Evans, Captain America himself, right? And then it'll be Brandon You know what I'm saying? And it'll be like Auden Tate and you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be all them guys.
Yeah.
Drew Sample instead of CJ Uzama. Secret of the Uzama.
Yeah. And a guy like Evans, I mean, let me see. Where are they at with who they play? I mean, they play the Panthers.
Yeah.
Do we think that if they go up, I mean, they haven't been looking too good, but if they go up, I mean, they might be sitting there, guys.
Who are the Bengals playing?
Bengals play the Browns.
Yeah, and the Browns they're gonna have their replacements also. It's
Yeah.
literally gonna be the replacements.
Yeah.
Like,
They already said that they're sitting Baker Mayfield. I mean, they got no reason to play Nick Chubb. I mean, unless they're going to put him in there for a series so he gets his game check or whatever.
Nick Chubb got the rib injury.
Yeah, that was another thing that he was dealing with after the first
after
the first freaking quarter, they said.
That kind of makes sense because he did take an early hit, and then I didn't see this till I rewatched the game, you know what I mean? Or the condensed version, I should say, because I was Luigi on fucking Monday.
Give me Mickey.
You know we were calling that game, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, what's his name? Remember we were all yelling, why the fuck isn't he on the field? Like
yeah, he was what's his name? Dearness Johnson was getting way too much love. I had no idea what was going on.
And then Dearness Johnson, he's on COVID. So it might be like what's his name? Demetric Felton. Wasn't I just talking shit about him the other week?
Yeah.
Or like last week?
Yep. And so let's see. I mean, Evans will probably be the guy who I'm starting. I mean, Ayuk, still don't know. I guess it depends on who it is. I mean, if it's Garoppolo or Lance. If it's Garoppolo, I'm probably rocking with them. If it's Lance, I don't know. That's like a Saturday night, like Sunday morning, like feel type thing.
I mean, the one thing is the coverage is always tight outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what sucks is like this, the way teams have been beating them is with the tight end. That's how that's where the Rams are susceptible. You know? Right? The Rams are susceptible to the tight end position. Matter of fact, Kittle had a dope game against them on a Monday night, and where we ran 40 times on them as a team, and Kittle did his thing, and Debo did his thing in the run game. That's got to be their approach here. And this time we also have a running QB, but that's what hurts Kittle too in that sense because he's blocking more, and like Kittle is key to to moving the ball against this matchup. You know what I'm saying? Like, because their coverage is so good on the outside, it's just that middle of the field is vulnerable, and like this has got to be a part of the game plan. Shanahan knows this. On top of us running the ball, we're gonna run the ball like 30 times, as long as we don't get behind really fast, because that's very possible. I mean, our secondary is really bad. You know what I mean? We have no Manuel Mosley like last time we played them, and no one scored a touchdown on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jimmy Ward is gonna be out.
Watch Thingy for your show.
Yeah, and we don't know who's going to be the QB, so we got to wait, till later before I decide on like a Lance or Garoppolo. So I think it's Evans as of right now, and Devin said so. Sit Dak. I mean, as of now, I'll say play him, but we may get more news about him on Saturday, and I don't think
what? If they don't play Jalen Hurts, I would play Gardner Minshew.
Yeah. Gardner Minshew, we know what he does. We know what he does when he comes in.
That's not my hat.
And Tino said Vrabel should be coach of the year. He should.
Yeah. I'd say. I mean,
I say good.
I guess Nick Sirianni's probably going to get it, right?
Yeah.
Because he got this trash team into the playoffs his first time around, right?
Yeah.
I think he's a shoo-in for that. You know what I mean?
Vrabel's with the Titans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but Nick Sirianni, though, on the other hand, careful, son. You're gonna fall off the chair. Nick Sirianni, on the other hand, I mean, yeah, he definitely he turned the Eagles. The Eagles were a different team in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like they were doomed. You know what I mean?
Yep. And Chandler said Vrabel's still successful without his number 1 player and without his number 2 player for a while. I mean, AJ Brown was out and they were still they've only lost 5 games on the year. Pretty intense. And Lee said next fantasy show for kids.
F is for fantasy.
And Tino said, I wouldn't play anyone who has locked in a season or no rival game. Well, I mean, Cowboys and Eagles are kind of a rivalry game, and I bet a bunch of them sit.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't play none of them motherfucking starters.
No.
You know what it is? If they're worried about not being in rhythm. So
Yeah.
maybe they go out there and they get a series or 2, or maybe even an entire quarter. I don't see too much, though. You know what I mean?
Yep. And let me see. And what did Coach Craig say? Auden Tate's on IR. Yep. They're going to be pretty slim over there. Oh, his son. He shut him off.
No.
He did like you do, where you shut things off and remove people. And let's see. And Chase said that would be something coach of the year after the press conference he had.
No.
Yeah, he's a savage. All right, well, let's see if Bogey comes back on here, but we were getting ready to get up out of here anyways. The only 2 pieces of news that we didn't mention so far is Antonio Gibson.
Yeah. Let's get out.
Antonio Gibson activated off COVID reserve. And then we also got Kirk Cousins activated off COVID reserve, but who knows if they actually like play him or not. I mean, they don't really have anything to play for. And yep, Lee said, see how the Cowboys are without Parsons, and see if
Hey, he's back.
there we go.
Big hill.
On D.
Look at his hill.
So your son did the same thing that Noble does. He likes to end conversations and shut things off.
What's up? You're gonna hit your chin here. What's
I'm
up?
gonna exit you, Dad.
No, we're not exiting. We're finishing up. So Bogard, let him know on the way out.
What's up?
I said we'll get up out of here. We already talked about all the news and good time to end it. Got through all the questions.
Oh, we're closing out?
Yeah. So go ahead, let them know.
Shit, man. Everybody tune back in. We simulcasting from the multiverse, right? Was that tonight, 6:30 West Coast time, 9:30 East Coast time. It's the Real Fantasy Playmakers. We're doing a 2021 recap. We're talking about players we hit on, players we missed on, you know what I'm saying? Underachievers, overachievers, all that is going down. Tune in live again tonight on both this channel and the GMM Network on
Laughing.
and Facebook.
Still whack.
Yeah, and you can follow me at the GMM Network.
Yeah.
Fuck with me.
Yeah, and make sure you go follow me. Just go to fantasyfootballhustler.com. That gets you to every link where you can find me on the internet. Make sure you go to Patreon. Go get signed up there because we're doing these NFL playoff leagues. Hit me up like right now because the drafts start on the 10th. I'm going to be placing everyone into leagues later today and tomorrow. It is going down 3 more weeks of fantasy football. You guys thought fantasy football was over? 3 more weeks. We got it. So make sure you go hit us up and make sure you tune back in tonight because the Real Fantasy Playmakers is always lit. Hey, peace out, suckers.
Peace out, sucker.
We out.
Say bye.
Bye.
Say peace.
As I make my way, the fact I'm still alive, my claim to fame. It's no surprise I'm on a rise, finna stake my claim. Separate me from the others, cause we ain't the same. Ask my brothers from another, we ain't for play. Time is money, so we got no time to waste. Soon as this thing's moving, it can't be stopped. Blue bands in my pocket, call that juggernaut.
Anywhere in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your work sure would help a lot. Put your life together.
You know the stat quo. Finna get a bag, bustin' down that blow. Out of East Side Ho, where they know my name.